Okay, hi, my name is Madison Margolin. I'm a journalist. I write for Mary Jane, Herb, LA Weekly, Rolling Stone, various other publications. We have a pretty full panel, but we're talking about A, women in cannabis, and B, how women in cannabis are leading both lifestyle and legalization movements, activism, and so forth. So I'm going to do a really quick intro for each of them, and then I'll let them also speak further to the topics we have. So we have Jessica Asaf, founder of Cannabis Feminist, Ariel Clark, cannabis business attorney with Clark Newbert, LLP, Tracy Ryan, founder of CannaKids, and Jackie Rocco, business development manager for the city of West Hollywood. So... So just to combine all the 20 questions I had prepared for this 15-minute panel into one, I want to ask you guys to just discuss how being a woman has impacted the role that you play in the cannabis industry as either someone who's pushing cannabis as a lifestyle product or helping to change or influence policy or help people work through the policies that so many people are struggling to navigate, and I know I've interviewed Ariel so many times about this issue. So yeah, I kind of just want to give you the freedom to talk really about what's relevant to you under this topic, so go for it.
So I started Cannabis Feminist after 10 years advocating for safer products in the beauty industry. So at the root of my passion is this desire to live better, happier, healthier lives, which we all deserve. And for me, I founded Cannabis Feminist because I believe cannabis will be the first billion-dollar industry run by women.
Yeah.
After I got my MBA at Harvard, I moved back to California, my home, to pursue my true love, which is cannabis. And I found out that across all industries, the highest percentage of female executives are in cannabis. Currently, even at a super underdeveloped state, 27% of the executives in the cannabis industry are women. And this is huge for us. This is actually the new feminism. This is the first opportunity women have to design, build, and lead an industry entirely from scratch with our high standards, our messaging, and our passion. And we all have this deep-rooted passion, this shared belief that cannabis is a medicine here to help. And for us, for Cannabis Feminists, which I'm still developing and building and figuring out, it's become a community because we all believe in the power of women to change the game, and this is our chance. It's so much bigger than the plant. It's really the opportunity for women to redefine leadership in this day and age. So we have a lot to learn from these women at the panel, and I'm so grateful to be here.
Thank you, Jessica. I also want to say that I've been thinking that legal cannabis is honestly spawning a new wave of feminism, and it's so exciting to be able to watch it happen and report on groups like Cannabis Feminist. So thank you. Ariel.
My name is Ariel Clark. I am a cannabis business and corporate attorney and a founding partner of an nearly all female, but women-owned cannabis business and corporate law firm with 4 offices in California. I devoted my practice to the cannabis industry in 2010 and started working with clients in this space in 2005. I also am the chairwoman and founder of the Los Angeles Cannabis Task Force, and I do a lot of other political work on a local and a state level. And I guess I start my remarks giving that background because I really appreciate, Jess, what you said, which is that we have this incredible opportunity in this industry to create something new. There have been lots of industries that have been created over the years, and maybe some of them with certain value systems are an old paradigm that we need to drop. And yeah. And so we have an opportunity in an emerging industry and one that touches on all aspects of our lives touches on what you put in your body. It touches on health. It touches on the environment. It touches on social justice issues. I mean, it's endless what cannabis touches. And as we write the rules and regulations, the laws, as we create opportunities for entrepreneurs and we create generational wealth, and as we really create the bones of an emerging industry, which we will see, I don't know how many more times in my lifetime or in our lifetime, but we're doing this now. And for those of us who care about the world and each other and participating well in the world, this is a really amazing opportunity as a woman and as a human being to really help shape things. And so I guess it's not exclusive to me being a woman, except that we have a lot of work to do, because while 27% of executives in cannabis companies are women, that's down 10% from 2 years ago. And when we look at the number of businesses that are being licensed, that are owned by women, that number is very low. So I really appreciate the vision, and we have to have vision. That's how we create reality. We have a vision, and then we move toward it every day. We still have we have a lot of work to do, and we're at the beginning, and I'm really so grateful that we're all here doing it together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Thank you, Ariel. Yeah, as she was saying, this is totally uncharted territory, and I know that I'm calling your office all the time and trying to ask her questions. Please explain this policy and how it's impacting the industry and stopping people from doing what they want to do, or enabling them to kind of pursue this really kind of almost revolutionary wellness industry and so forth. So on the topic of wellness and medicine, Tracy, talk.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me tonight with these wonderful women on the stage. My name is Tracy Ryan. I am the CEO of CannaKids, CK Sciences, and the founder of Saving Sophie. Thank you. My little girl was born with a brain tumor, and at 8.5 months old, my life changed forever. She has a low-grade glioma that's a 90% survival rate, but an 85% recurrence rate. So we are now 5 years into chemotherapy. It's the only thing my child has ever known. And what I discovered when she was diagnosed is that there were no new drugs for children in the 21st century. There'd been literally 2 drugs taken all the way through the FDA for our children, and my kid was going to be pumped with poisonous toxins that were 30 years old. Yeah, that's the facts. 3.8% of all government funding go to research pediatric cancer, and that's it. And I got lucky. Ricky Lake found us through a chain of events on social media. They were filming a documentary called Weed the People that will be streaming on Netflix in February. It just launched this year. And she introduced me to cannabis. Ricky Lake, American apple pie, loves the birthing movement. That's who got me into weed for children. And when I started my baby on this oil, literally at 9 months old, I was so hopeful and was really filled full of hope that the Western medicine community could not give me. And what I have watched over the last 5 years has been nothing short of miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle with my child, to the extent that no one that treats her can explain it other than to give the credit to cannabis. And now, because my little girl got sick, CannaKids has served over 3,000 patients in California and has consulted patients worldwide. Thank you. I raised $3 million last year, 50 cents of which I did not keep, and I am funding pediatric cancer and adult research at the Technion Institute in Israel, where we have 41 scientists working around the clock to figure out this disease using cannabis. And just 3 short weeks ago, my little girl had her second brain surgery to debulk a tumor, which is what these tumors do. And before she was off the table, I had those cells to UCLA and implanted into animal models, one of which the mice pumps human blood. The only mice like it in the entire world, and this researcher not only got dropped into my lap, but was willing to help my child for not a penny spent. Because of what we are finding in my child, and because of what we are discovering about her immune system that is completely and solely related to cannabis, not only do I think that we're going to find a cure for my little girl, I think we're going to change the world. So thank you for having me.
Tracy, thank you. And also, it's just incredible that you're pushing forward with research, especially when research in America is so limited because cannabis is still technically federally illegal. So on that note, though, the city of West Hollywood has been particularly progressive on cannabis, so I'll just let you talk.
Hello, I feel extremely fortunate to work for the city of West Hollywood, which I believe is probably one of the most progressive cities in California, and we last year passed a cannabis ordinance, and we're actually in the process of accepting applications for our cannabis licenses. And one of the things that the city of West Hollywood made very clear during the process of developing this ordinance was that we wanted to make sure that we had a diversity of applicants, including women and minorities that typically don't have access to, as you know, a lot of venture capital and a lot of investment opportunities to go into these types of business opportunities. And we developed an ordinance where it's a merit-based application process where you're not even required to have a property to be able to put in an application to be considered for a license. And that has been a departure from the way that most cities and most policies have been developed regarding cannabis, not only in California, but throughout the country. And, you know, we have gotten a lot of really positive feedback from a lot of individuals, including one of our panelists here, who I know is working with some potential applicants, that it has really made it possible for women to, you know, consider applying for applications and becoming business owners in our city. And for us, you know, we really wanted to make sure that our, you know, history of being progressive and open also extended into developing a policy that would serve as a model, and also to dispel the myth that cannabis is a seedy, undesirable, you know, product that cities should stay away from. And as a result, we've had a lot of interest and a lot of input from the cannabis industry and from, you know, people in the community. We passed this ordinance with basically zero objections from our residents, and, you know, with full support from our council. And, you know, we're just really excited to, you know, be sort of at the forefront of some of these exciting, innovative, creative businesses that women are really bringing forward. And, you know, I'm talking about lifestyle. I mean, I've never used cannabis, but at one of our public meetings, I said, all I want to know is, does anybody here have a product for plantar fasciitis? And someone said, we do, and I've been using it, and it's been
I've got something for you.
Fantastic.
I got some cream in my purse that'll fix that right up.
But, you know, it just speaks to, you know, the fact that, I mean, cannabis has been, you know, sort of portrayed in a negative light, but it really has so many positive, you know, benefits. And, you know, again, just to be part of this process in a city that has fully embraced, you know, this new change in policy in California is just really fantastic. And I'm delighted to be here with all of you today and with these wonderful women here on this panel.
Thank you. Okay. So I just kind of want to wrap things up and say that everyone here occupies a really different role in the cannabis space, and still at the same time I feel like being a woman in law or in kind of medicine or policy or lifestyle has both its advantages and disadvantages. So maybe we have 1 minute left. Is there anyone who wants to say why it's helped to be actually a woman in what's considered often like a male-dominated, you know?
I can say
Please.
I can say one thing that has benefited me greatly is working with my daughter's doctors. If it were dad rolling in there with our little girl saying, "Hey guys, you should look at cannabis for this child," I think the eye roll situation might happen quite a bit. But what we're finding in medicine is, and especially at Cannakids, about 97 to 98% of our calls that come into our offices for patients is driven by women and by moms. So when I'm working with these world-renowned researchers and these doctors and these medical experts, they know they have a mama bear on their hands, and the last thing you want to do is piss off a mama. So that has definitely worked to my betterment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madison. Thank you, panel. That's awesome.
That was great.
Note the gender. This is big. This is inspiring.